Have you ever wondered where the problems in the world today would exist if we had deeper connection to ourselves, others, and the environment and acted from that place? Welcome to the Conscious Action Podcast with your host, Brian Berneman, who believe that connection is the key to taking conscious action as individuals and creating a better world. We are here to raise awareness and inspire meaningful action by sharing stories, knowledge, and conversations with thought leaders and change makers. From sustainability to well-being and everything related to conscious living, our mission is to empower you to be the change that you want to see in the world.
Welcome to a new episode of the Conscious Action Podcast. I am Brian Berneman, your host. And for this episode, I wanted to explore how we are mostly trying to change things, whether that is in our inner life or with the collective or our relationship with our earth and our environment, with the same mentality and the same mindset and the same systems thinking as the ones that have managed to lead us to this place. So I wanted to give some examples on this to understand how we can change this. And part of it comes sometimes from the space of climate change or climate action. And in that space, I see a lot how we are engaging with it as we need to fight to change how things are. We need to fight against those that are polluting, those that are creating all of these different things that are actually a detriment to our environment in terms of the resources that are being taken or the way that people are being forced to work in conditions that are not good. I'm not saying that what's happening is something that I like or that I see as positive, but fighting against that, it's a mentality that is based on the old paradigm, the paradigm that created that, the paradigm of separation, a paradigm of us versus them, a paradigm of trying to put people against each other, a paradigm of creating that difference so that then everybody wants what they want to survive. And for me, the challenge here, of course, is that we have internalized a lot of these systems and we are playing them out. So changing how we are seeing and how we are phrasing the change that we want to see. It's very different, and I explored this many times when I've been giving talks or workshops around the climate actions that we can take. What is our vision for the future? Not what we don't want anymore to happen. What do we want? What do we want to see? How do we want to live? How do we want to feel? Versus, I don't want to see any more extraction of fossil fuels. I don't want any more inequality, or I don't want any more X, Y, Z. It doesn't matter what it is. And yes, those things will need to change to get us to that place that we want. But it's a very different perspective or a very different pathway when we're engaging on the fighting or the don't want this anymore versus want this. We need to understand how to get there, but it's much easier to get there when we have a direction of something that we want to see. As I always or often share, I picture a future that is beautiful, that is regenerative, that is bountiful, that is abundant, that is expansive, that is working for every single being, not just people, but every single being, including our Mother Earth. I have a vision and a feeling of what that's like, and I know that that's possible and I know that I don't need to fight against anyone to get there, but I need to keep that being true. I need to keep that in my heart, in my mind, as the place to focus. And in terms of that fighting, I think that it's much more productive a lot of times to connect with people, to engage with people, to get other perspectives, to be able to collaborate to create the change instead of fighting that will create further separation and will allow this to continue. Now, going back to that fighting as another example, and I work with this a lot of times when I'm doing family constellations work or systemic constellations work, is how we can see what other people have done, whether that's individual people in our lives, our families, or businesses, and how, because they've done something wrong, now we need to do something for that. How I see this is about the trying to perpetuate, and this is very unconscious, the fact that if I was a victim at some point, I want others to be a victim. Therefore, I go to being the perpetrator. Just like someone did that to me, I want them to feel like that. And a much more healthier response would be to stop that cycle of victimizing one and then the other and then one and then the other, whether that's individually or as a collective, because that's going to lead us nowhere. Yes, this is very challenging because we were hurt. And there's different layers and levels of how people were hurt, traumatized, displaced. I mean, there's a lot there. I'm not downplaying the importance of that and the importance of healing that and the importance of processing that. And if there needs to be reparations. I'm not saying that doesn't need to take place. What I'm saying is, do we want to continue that cycle? Do we want, because I was hurt, to hurt the other person just so that they can feel that, when if they get hurt, they are going to keep on doing that? And most likely, if they hurt me, it's because they were hurt at some point, whether that was physically or energetically, emotionally, psychologically, whether they know it or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is, can I take responsibility to create something new? Can I take responsibility to create the new world that I want to see? Can I take responsibility to do things differently, to allow myself to live in a new paradigm where we are not engaging anymore on this cycle of victimizing, taking responsibility, taking back my power, reclaiming that power, and not engaging anymore in that way, creating a new pathway to the world that I want, to the world that I envision, to the world that I know that it's possible. So the invitation with this episode is to be able to question how we are operating, how we are thinking about the changes that we want to see, how we can engage both with ourselves and the way that we are communicating the changes that are necessary. Again, this is a very delicate subject because it's very subtle, those shifts that need to take. Because yes, we want to, quote unquote, save the earth. We want to fight for the rights of people. We want all of that. And now, what I am inviting us to think as a collective is fighting the right way. Is that separation, that differentiation, that continuation of that cycle the right way? Or can we question that and open a new door, a new pathway, a new understanding to get to the same place that we want, ideally, from a very different place, from a place where we are including everyone, where we understand that everyone has their own baggage and that everyone is doing what they believe that is the right thing for them. It might be ethically or moralistically wrong, but mostly in my experience, everybody is doing the best that they can with what they know. So people that experience trauma usually create trauma in their lives and in the lives of others. People that were hurt others. It's not black and white or one and then the other, but a lot of it is like that. So I aim to question how I have internalized the systems that I would love to see change. And I invite you to do the same, to see if there's a different pathway that you can take, to see if there's a different way of engaging both with yourself and with others from a place of wholeness, from a place of healing, from a place of engaging in positive outcomes, in the change that is unifying instead of the one that keeps on separating. I would love for you to share your thoughts, your comments, and your experience with this. More than open to see what you have to say, especially if you don't agree with my perspective. Completely fine if you don't agree with it. I would love to know. So yeah, just let me know, write in the comments anywhere that you're finding this episode. And thank you for being there, and I will see you the next time. Bye!
What did you like the most about this episode? Take a moment to think about what change you can make in your life today.
Share your conscious action on social media using #ConsciousAction and tagging @ConsciousActionNZ so we can celebrate your impact on the world and create a ripple effect.
One easy action we would love for you to take right now is to share, like, and subscribe to this podcast. This will help us get these messages out into the world and inspire more people to take conscious action in their own lives, contributing to the better world we hope for.